Good afternoon, Western Washington, and happy December and happy Sunday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and today we're going to take a look at the forecast for the next couple of days and a look at the extended forecast here. You can see as we started today, we had some fog across a lot of the valleys, and that has largely burned off as we go through the day with a few areas of fog around Shelton and south of Olympia. We're going to have a lot more fog over the next couple of days with some freezing fog possible as well. So we're going to take a look at that here in a minute here. Want to show this photo here. This is from my drone looking out toward Mount Rainier to the southeast from Federal Way. You can see the fog over the Auburn Valley there and a couple of lenticular clouds over Mount Rainier there. And then here is another photo. You can see that low-lying fog in the valleys there. Pretty cool to look at and see how it kind of interacts with the hills there. So let's take a look at our overall pattern. You can see the European model with taking a look at this ridge. It's going to continue all the way through Monday here and into Tuesday there. You can see kind of secondary ridge builds there to our north over British Columbia. Starts to weaken as we're going to have some systems move through Wednesday to Thursday, but then we're going to have more ridging building likely by the time we get toward Friday. That's going to be a little bit more transient, going to move through pretty quickly. We're going to have a break in the ridging by Saturday before more ridging potentially starts to move into the area by next Sunday and Monday, but that's looking pretty far out into the extended forecast. So what's happening with this ridge? So we're getting a temperature inversion with this ridge. So normally you have warm air near the surface, cooler air midway up through the atmosphere, and then colder air aloft. But when you have an inversion layer, you have this layer of warm air that is kind of in the middle there between the cold air aloft and this cold air trapped at the surface, and this causes air stagnation, degraded air quality, and it causes fog, and it can keep that fog and cold temperatures just kind of stuck in the lower levels of the atmosphere. So when we have inversions here, like usually the mountains are a warmer temperature than the lowlands like Seattle. So we're going to take a look at that here in a moment too. But the other thing that inversions cause is a lot of fog. So I put this forecast from the NAM high resolution model out to 4 a.m. Monday. And you can see it's showing very low visibility for all of the lowlands here. It doesn't really impact the coast, but the lowlands are going to be impacted by this fog all the way through. This is noon on Monday, and you can see a few areas of clearing, but a lot of the region remains socked in with very dense fog. And then as we go back to about 5 p.m. Monday, that fog starts to fill back in again overnight. And then we have more dense fog Tuesday morning, and that will burn off a little bit more, it looks like, on Tuesday afternoon than Monday afternoon. But by the time we get to about 6 p.m., that fog starts to build back in again. So we're looking at a few pretty foggy days coming up. And just take caution on the commutes Monday morning and Tuesday morning, and likely Wednesday morning as well. There's going to be some potential freezing fog with some of the cold temperatures we're expecting over the next couple of mornings, and this fog is also likely going to cause some delays at SeaTac Airport and Payne Field, possibly Bellingham as well, but especially at SeaTac, there's likely going to be some delays Monday morning all the way through the day, Monday and Tuesday, and likely into Wednesday. So now taking a look at the NAM forecast for low temperatures. These are low temperatures Monday morning, and you can see that inversion. So for example, you have a low temperature of about 30 degrees at SeaTac, but up near North Bend, up along the mountains there towards Snoqualmie Pass, you have lows in the mid-30s. So it's cooler in the lowlands with that cold air trapped near the surface than it is up at some of the mountains. Like here you have Paradise at 41 degrees and areas near Tacoma in the upper 20s. So we're likely going to have lows Monday morning in the upper 20s to low 30s across the area. Some places could reach the mid-20s near the foothills there, outlying areas, and from Chehalis southward. I got to 29 in Federal Way this morning, Sunday morning. And then as we go to Tuesday morning here, you can see even colder across the area. That inversion's even more pronounced there with those lows in the mid-30s to low 40s in the mountains versus in the mid-20s to low 30s across western Washington here. You can see Tuesday morning we could have some pretty chilly temperatures with places like Chehalis and Olympia in the mid-20s, potentially upper 20s for places like Tacoma, Federal Way, Auburn, and then some of these foothills areas likely in the mid-20s. Seattle likely in the upper 20s to low 30s. Same on the Kitsap Peninsula and up north toward Bellingham. So the thing that is a big hazard with this is that these temperatures will be occurring while it's foggy, and that brings freezing fog, which can quickly drop a layer of ice along some area roadways, and that can cause some difficult driving conditions at times, especially on overpasses. So be prepared for that on Monday and Tuesday mornings. And taking a look at high temperatures, you can see how the inversion impacts high temperatures as well, with highs reaching the upper 40s in the mountains on Monday and only in the low 40s to mid 40s potentially in the lowlands, though we could stay even colder. If the fog is really thick, we could have highs staying in the 30s. And you can see the NAM is showing that here on Tuesday, with highs in the lowlands potentially staying in the mid-30s, which would be a very chilly day. So just heads up for that. We're going to have some pretty chilly days ahead with this fog. When the fog stays really dense and doesn't move out of the area, out of the lowlands here during the day on inversion days like this, you can easily have highs only remaining in the mid-30s. So Monday and Tuesday look to be pretty chilly days, and that could continue into Wednesday as well. But now let's take a look at what's coming in the extended forecast. So I have this put out to Wednesday evening, and you can see rain offshore, and that rain is likely going to move inland here on Thursday, and then we have more rain potentially after a break on Thursday afternoon. We have more rain moving in on Friday, and that could continue with some potential atmospheric river characteristics here all the way through Saturday before we start to have a break by early Sunday morning. That's a little bit uncertain as to how much rain will actually fall. And you can see that here on the European model. These are the ensembles, so it runs 50 ensemble members in addition to the control run. And you can see on this graph down here, the control run is way higher in terms of total rainfall than the ensemble mean, which is these little bars here. So the ensemble mean shows about an inch of rain for SeaTac Airport there by the time we get to about Sunday, while the control run, which shows a strong atmospheric river, shows more like 2.5 inches of rain. And you can see there is still a pretty good spread amongst the ensemble members. The trend is for more rain starting about a week from now, but we still have to watch this closely as these trends can change, and we could trend either more toward an atmospheric river or more toward a more moderate solution. So I'll keep talking about that over the next few days, and we will stay tuned for that. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and share these videos. That's the best way to help Western Washington weather grow. Stay tuned, stay safe out there in the fog and freezing fog, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.